BT21 World Convergence, the very first set that we are all getting together globally across all the 3 different languages. Man, so excited. Couldn't imagine that this day would have come. But before we get into it, let's quickly open some release event packs. But let's go ahead and open up some release special packs, which we have Kenna Weissman here as our first card. Very nice. And then we got Griffomon, which is Wind Guardians, or also known as WG, as a new archetype. Speaking of WG, we got Cherrymon here as well. Notice how they kind of call it release event now. I feel like they did that for the last few sets already and pretty much moved on to away from pre-release. And then we got Zenith, which is going to be a tamer card for Galactimon. Okay, so let's go ahead and crack open this box right here. Let's see what we get. Ooh, okay, we got some nice box toppers. Oh yes, just before we get into it, if you guys are wondering what these are, finally made my very own status counters for the game, where you guys can see these are made with like high quality plastic, so it's very, very durable and nice. And we got DP buffs, DP reductions, you know, blocker, protection, any status that you want to use, stun, security attack +1, combination of all of these. Make sure to get them on the AVAULT Store right now as well, and you can get the special bundle along together with the Destined Partners playmat, so definitely check it out, and I really appreciate the support. So let's go ahead and open up these 2 box topper packs. This one is the limited card pack, which I believe is alt-art cards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're alt-art cards of reprints, and there's 7 cards per pack, so that's pretty nice because I think there's a mixture of like cards that we need in terms of like new and maybe perhaps like a reprint as well. So we got Valkyremon as the first one. I believe this is from the latest LM set, which we didn't get, and we're getting it as in this form. Vikemon, which is for Shakumon or Zudomon. These are non-aces, by the way. And then this is Regulusmon or Regulicusmon. This is for the Deep Sabers. And we have Raziomon, which is for 3 Great Angels. There we go. This one's an ace. We got Dr. Ace, which is either for D Brigade, but mainly actually for the Axel trait, which you can help you sort of like have another level 6 that can drop down DNA into Chaosmon Volderon, which is pretty sick. And then we got Ghoulmon here, which is pretty interesting card. I don't know exactly which archetype is it supposed to support, but I have seen players putting this inside their Barbermon decks. Which I find it interesting. I'm not entirely sure about the usage just because it is an ace card and you want it to be deleted in order to trash a card off your opponent's hand. So I don't know how great that really is. But this one is a definitely fantastic reprint, which is Gallantmon from BT13. Must have. I mean, look at him. He's like menacing here. He looks scary. He's definitely seen something. But this is definitely a great reprint because I know that card is definitely pretty hard to get, I'd say now, because you can only get it from BT13. I'm not sure what other sets you can get it from outside. I can't remember, but so whoever's looking to get in the Gallantmon or Royal Knights, that's definitely a good card to grab. Now we're going to go into the Illustration Celebration pack, which there's 2 cards. And of course there's another Gallantmon here, but this time it's a new one, which is red and yellow. Very similar to this other one where you get to hard drop it by reducing the play cost based on how many cards in both players trash. But this one has a different requirement, is that as long as there's a Digimon with 13k DP or more. And then Dolgoromon. This is one of my personal favorites. Looks absolutely fantastic. New support for the deck. I'm really curious to see how this one really blends well together. One of my personal favorite Digimons out there. But anyways, let's go into the actual World Convergence pack right here and start opening up these cards. Koromon, Raging Serpentine, okay, Uplink, Gamma, Lydra, Metal Gray, Shoutmon DX, and we're starting off with a Lamiamon, which has the new keyword Progress. You know, being unaffected as you attack is pretty strong. Of course, I think you're still affected by effects that kind of linger after the fact and so on, but at least being immune during the moment of attack can help you play around a lot of different things. Timon and Zenith. Ghostmon, Skullgray, Ragnarok Cannon, absolutely insane card if you can pull it off, trashing every single security there is. Wind Guardians, I know this is like a little bit of an underrated archetype, but I think this is like more of a, like a future cameo that we can expect to get. Probably a future Palmomon that's Wind Guardians. a Rosemon, I believe, and then we can obviously see Digimon right here, and there's a lot of funny memes for sure. I wonder who that shadow is that's in the sky. That could be Griffomon. You know, the reflection on the pond, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Digimon, definitely a foresight. I'd say I believe there will be all force support in the future for sure. And yeah, you know, with the new sets coming in, we got Dugachmon. Is it Dugachmon or Dogachmon? And then we got Regulusmon right here. Yeah, I never watched Appmon, so this is going to be really cool as it's the first time that we get to see Appmon being introduced into the card game. Definitely a couple of like adventure support cards. Dracomon X Antibody, a fantastic card for Examon. That's must have, must need. So I'm going to be updating that deck for sure, so definitely stay tuned. And we got Dugachmon again. No SR hits just yet. That means we're going to get the big heavy hitters later. Spirit Evolution. Lots of archetype for the protags when it comes to like having option cards now. Can't turn my back. Well, speaking of that, we're pretty much getting all of them right here. That's crazy. Nothing but option cards. Yeah, they do pretty much like different things for depending on the deck, which is really cool. Owen Dreadnought, and then we got Charismon or Charismon. Pretty nice. You definitely need it for the Appmon deck as well. But yeah, lots of support for the protags, as you guys can see, obviously, and know from the actual set itself is designed to very similar to BT17-ish, but mainly actually BT12, you know, giving like a whole round of support. We got Wargreymon right here. This one's pretty cool too, just because you can reduce its play cost and hard drop it. It can be a fairly good staple card. Not staple card, but like a splashable card in many different decks with its usages. I guess I like to call it like medieval budget medieval, perhaps. We got Gachmon and we got Satellamon. Although this is like for mainly like an Appmon card, but I think it's pretty much found most of its usage within the Three Musketeers deck instead. And it's nice to see support for that in that form too, which is really cool. This card is a very good level 5 for that archetype, just because you can do so many things with it. Keep going. Lots of Wind Guardian stuff, huh? Battle Gamma, V, Gamma, Lydra, new armor stuff, Satellamon, and speaking of which we talked about Dracomon X earlier on, we have Examon X Antibody. I kind of felt like it would be really cool if this card had Partition, so that you can spit out like the level 6s back out, which would be really cool. Being able to Digivolve for 2 on top of Examon is okay, I guess. You get to spend stuff, and you get to, you know, trash your opponent's security as well. And yeah, ideally once you get into Examon, that's when you would go into Examon X. Gonna be curious to be testing this out and seeing how it works for the deck. And yeah, like I said, stay tuned for the updates. Cyclomon here. Sume, Mushroom, Flame, Gossipmon, Sunoriza, Cyberdramon, Greymon, Haru, and a new Automon, which I'd say I would be most excited for Red Hybrid support. It's been a while since I played Red Hybrid, but yeah, if you guys want to see all my like updated first drafts and deck lists and everything for this set, make sure to join the AVAULT Club. Make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for those videos as they come as well, and I appreciate the support. Yeah, really excited stuff. But yeah, let's just keep going. This Wargreymon fantastic. I really hope we get a Chaos Galamon in the future. A new one. Owen Dreadnought, Tocado. Oh yeah, most of the Protag Tamers in the set are the SR cards of the set, which is interesting too. This one's nice. It gives you extra DP as well, but you simply just gain a memory at the start of main if your opponent has a Digimon too. Yeah, looking forward to be like trying out the Megidramon deck too. And interested to see if that actually works in regular Gallantmon. What else do we have? Keep going. Watchmon, Vemmon, Woodmon, Wargrow, Agu, Destro, Gachmon, and we have Davis right here. Being both blue and red is actually really interesting. I mean, red obviously for the hero archetype, but blue as well obviously of its original archetype, and giving you access to those two colors really helps synergize with your like option cards. I guess you can possibly play Gravity Crush and Magnamon now, which can be rather spicy instead of Blinding Ray. I don't know, gotta test it out. Just theory crafting, you know? Could be fun stuff. Snatchmon, Guri, Burning Gray, Soshamon, Shoutmon, Wergar, Shoutmon King, and Megidramon, which is not an SR card. It is just a regular rare. I'm really excited to be trying this one out. I know many of you guys are as well. Just being able to attack, delete itself, blow up the entire board when you're deleted at the same time to do all of that. Really strong for sure. And then we got Magnamon, which is also a rare card. Not too sure about this one, just because it DP reduces, but it kind of requires you to have Armor Form in the trash setup already. So it's not like a very good early game card to first get into. Whereas you probably still prioritize the other Magnamons first, and then this is like a nicer one to get into in the later mid stages of the game once you wreck the armor. But yeah, curious to see how people sort of deck build with that one too as well. And that's the crazy thing, right? Everyone's deck building and cooking up right now with different builds. It's really cool to see like the whole world coming up with like different unique ideas and playtesting. So this is a fantastic time. Shotmon, which is needed for 3 Musketeers as well. Being able to de-digivolve as a level 3 like this is also kind of nice. Being able to work with the archetype. You guys can even see Billstar in the background too. And of course Marcus. Marcus with Shine Greymon making a huge comeback. I think there's a lot of hype on that deck too. It's been a little while since, you know, BT13 when it was like the strongest at its peak. BT14 was kind of good too, and then kind of fell off ever since, and now it's kind of like really good because we got like, you know, both yellow and red support for the actual archetype. And of course, speaking of which, we have a new Koromon to work with too. Navimon and Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode. I think it's kind of neat, you know, being able to like trash sources, which is kind of interesting, which trash is based on the top, which is not really like de-digivolving. Kind of think it does the reverse of the old Cross 7 does, but kind of achieves a similar thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, this still has that versatility where you can like digicross with like infinitely any like stuff, as long as they're different names or different codes. We got new hero, so Gamamon support here, which I think Gamamon got a quite decent amount of cards as well. Shine Greymon here, which we got to talk about it a little bit, itself has Raid. You can potentially gain security attack +1 by suspending your own tamers, and you get extra DP as well. And being able to delete anything when you're attacking or when you digivolve once per turn, as you DP reduce, you know, pretty nice removal. Being able to like get rid of something big very easily too. And then we got Audemon once again. I was gonna say I thought it was gonna be a Goonie, but no. I'm pretty sure a Goonie was like a non-foil card. Skull Greymon. Been testing this one out in the adventure deck. Kind of works like nice as a one-of, I think. Being able to flow tamers out. Dracomon X. And our first secret rare, which is also a tamer. And it's going to be Tai, which is a card that you need for both the hero deck and the adventure deck. It's a memory setter, and the more different color tamers you have, you can pretty much just like play out like anything for free. And you have the bond deck this tamer, but it also gives you the draw power while you're attacking with any of your Digimon, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think it is going to be pretty an important card overall. Skullgray. Canowise, Wargray, Lamia, and here comes our first alt art with Zenith. This is a memory starter for the deck, and it pretty much just searches and lets you play like a Venmon based on what you search. Definitely need it for Galactimon for sure, so. Yeah, I think Galactimon is definitely a really cool deck. Definitely got lots of support over the years. And possibly quite viable too. Regulusmon, and we got a new Tagiru, which is mainly for hunters, but also for the hero deck as well, purple and red. And it has that starter main. As long as you play something with save, you get to like gain a memory and draw. Really nice. Really good for what you need for sure to synergize with what you're trying to do. Agumon, Wingardians, Woodmon, Sango, Cyclone, Garuru, Arrestodramon, Omnishout, Magna, and Regulus as well. Snatch, Venmon, Calamon, or Calendamon, Vmon, Megidramon once again, and Lamiamon. So yeah, I think most of this set, most of the SRs of this set are going to be tamers. So, and the tamers are important to your core strategy. You're going to need quite a number of them. You want to make sure to get your playsets, I think, in most cases. Chaosmon, and here we are, Galacticmon. The whole archetype can ramp up sources so quickly now, and you can recur your resources from the trash very quickly too, to stack up as many Venmons underneath your Galacticmon. And it's very easy to go into this guy because you can actually warp from a Snatchmon or Digivolve into a Destromon for a 6 cost. And being able to use Ragnarok Cannon from Handle Your Trash for free is pretty insane, because when you can pull this off where you delete a lot of stuff at the start of main, you pretty much kind of like control your opponent's board, or you board clear them enough where you delete a lot of their things. And then as soon as you attack, you use the delay of Ragnarok Cannon to pretty much finish your opponents off, especially when you push out with a rookie on that turn. You pretty much OTK them, which is really insane. Galacticmon probably might make a comeback, honestly, I think. Would it be like the most competitive, like top tier deck? I'm not sure, but I think it has some kind of potential for sure, because the support is actually good in the set. Owen Dreadnought. Calamon once again. Wargrowl, Rise, Canonwise, Time, and Seriousmon. Again, this is just a regular rare, not an SR, but a really good level 6 to have, just because you have that damage now with security attack +1 and raid, and you can keep deleting things. This is good for sure. And yeah, if you guys are Gamamon fans, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Possibly going to be making some updated deck profile videos for that as well. Zenith. And a new Arrestramon Superior mode, which kind of is like the old one where you can kind of like attack without suspending. But I feel like the old one might still be better, just because it has like a main removal tool that the deck cannot utilize, of being able to like tuck something underneath like another Digimon or even underneath a Tamer, which is very strong, I'd say. Got Digimon, Cross Up, Geogray, Scope, Greymon, Metal Gray, Cyberdramon, Griffmon, and Shotmon. Okay. So that's basically our first box. But I always, made sure to bring out a second box. Possibly we have a little bit more to go too, just because it's exciting to be opening up new sets as always. And if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification bell, because I definitely appreciate the support. So the 7 cards of this pack is pretty much the same every time, so I don't feel like I need to open this. But then let's open this one, because this is random 2 out of 6. There's a lot more cooler cards to talk about for sure. And the first one right here is the War Greymon, which is dedicated for the adventure type, or you can kind of play it in regular War Grey deck. I'm not too sure about this card. I'm testing it. Maybe it's like a nice one-of, just because it can deal with some extra damage, delete anything when you Digivolve. Just has a lot of DP. So I'm going to test it a little bit more. But definitely want to include it in the adventure deck if possible, for sure. But I don't think it's 100% necessary. This one I'm definitely looking forward to. A new Emperor Greymon that pretty much can like Digivolve on top of like your hybrids, that level 5, or go straight on top of Takuya. Specifically, you want to make sure to have like 5 hybrid sources underneath Takuya. Itself as a blocker, you get to delete things, you get to unsuspend, which synergizes with the 5-cost Takuya Koji, which pretty much lets you like attack. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that one for sure. I think I'll be looking at the red hybrid quite likely, because I like red hybrid. I like Emperor Greymon. Okay. Let's keep going through the main cards of the pack. So we got Tagiru, which we saw earlier. So mainly just to recap you guys that there's pretty much like a secret per box, or otherwise it's plus an alt art, otherwise it's 2 alt arts. We're back to that regular ratio. Although I kind of hope they bumped up the ratios on the hit rates a little bit, kind of like before. I know BT 2.5 was really juicy with a lot of hits, but now going back to normal, I just felt like you guys can give us one more hit, right? Like 2 alt arts plus a random secret. That would be really nice if possible. I think that's kind of how the EX boxes are too. But yeah, it looks like I think we only pulled the Zenith alt art and the Tai as our 2 main hits. Arrestramon and Zenith. So yeah, wonder what will hit in these other 2 boxes, or in this box actually, including the previous one as the second box, obviously. And then Navimon, Audamon, and Galacticmon, which we saw earlier. Champion over Fighter. Dracomon X and Takado. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite deck is that you're most looking forward to be playing in this new set, in this new meta and format. Excited to see what kind of decks will be coming in. I think there was quite a number of viable ones. I see Shine Gray as one of them. Adventure's quite likely one of them. Red Hybrid. Gamamon. They seem very, very promising cards. Marcus. There are a couple other SR cards that are like Digimon, like monsters that are not Tamers. But yeah, Tamers did definitely take up a lot of the slots here. Dracomon X. Although I have to say, like, all the level 6s that are just rares in this set makes you really feel like, oh yeah, you know, it kind of could be an SR hit. They could have just reversed the Tamers with the level 6 Digimon too. But I guess it's been a while since we got like super rare Tamers, especially this many in one go. Elizamon. I feel like we didn't pull this one. Is it Elizamon or Elizamon? Anyways, this is the main searcher of the Medusamon archetype, which we actually haven't pulled one yet. So it'll be nice that we can quickly see one, which hopefully will probably be in this box and we can talk about it too. Lots of red cards though, for sure in this set. Like everything is either half red or full red, because again, it's a protag set, so it just makes a lot of sense. Armor Digivolution. Oh, and that's our altar, and it's an altar secret, which we got Tai, which we saw earlier, but this is much nicer artwork. Really, really nice. Yeah, this is the kind of art I like. Original. But yeah, let's keep going. We already know what it does, so I guess that means we either pull another altar, or do we pull a secret? Because that counts as a altar hit. Griffamon and Elizamon. Sunarizamon. Speaking of which is a new like low subsidiary support for Pyramidimon and the Rock deck, Lamiamon, and we have Globemon right here. So this is one of the Digimon cards that's an SR, and this is obviously for the Atmon deck. Definitely going to be covering like kind of how the Atmon and everything kind of works together with Link, which is a completely new mechanic. I'm not going to explain too much right here, but it's a new mechanic for the game, which is really cool, where you kind of like plug your Digimon on the side, kind of like a little insert chip, or like installing the app per se, which is cool and unique. Definitely curious to see how that archetype in that deck grows, because I'm very sure there are way more Atmons out there that they can continue to introduce. And the archetype eventually can become really, really strong. It's pretty toolboxy too, just because it has a lot of different colors involved. It can have a lot of different like removal effects. It can combat against different situations based on what you need, which is pretty good at like playing against a variety of stuff. The only thing I would say though, from playtesting, it feels a little bit slow, but I'm still trying to work up a build. So again, guys, if you guys are Atmon fans, stay tuned for that. And I'll cover everything you guys need to know, especially if you guys are new players or going to get into the game. I'll teach you guys how all that works with the apps and the whole linking mechanic. But let's keep going. Shine Greymon. I like this artwork though. Really, really nice. Firepower, you know? You can kind of just see it like the fiery hollowness, the fire hollow just like seeping through as I'm like fanning out through the cards and so on. Seriousmon and Cross 7. Yeah, I'll probably speed up a little bit more just because I feel like we've seen most cards already from the set. I mean, like, very different to 2.5 and like 2.0. We spent a lot of time sort of like looking at these new cards and really, you know, talk about them because there's so many cool stuff and cool archetypes. But it feels weird to be going back to like a whole regular thing. It feels like we've been eating well and then now it's like back to normal. I kind of miss those days, you know, when we get new stuff all the time. And we have like loaded sets such as like 2.0 and 2.5. Again, those were really fun to open. But yeah, I like the set too. You know, protag stuff. Who doesn't like protags, right? Oh, we got the secret hit. 2 secrets in a box, which is insane. One of them being an alt art, And here is the second secret of the set, which is Gaiamon. Wow, just look at that. Like when I first saw this artwork, that looks sick. For a second, I always thought it was like a Gamamon card, like if you didn't know like the lore behind it and everything, but it's actually like the level 6 Atmon card. And this pretty much lets you like link additional cards inside it because it has link +1, so you can link 2 things at a time. It has the capability to unsuspend, trash your opponent's security, and as you're digivolving or attacking, not even once per turn, you can keep sliding in different links. So you can replace your links and cycle different effects, which is really neat and really cool. You can app fuse, which I'll talk about more when we get to the actual deck profile itself, with Globemon and Charismon, so you pretty much like kind of like fuse for free. Otherwise, you have to digivolve for 5 costs, which is quite a lot. Being a 13k boss like that makes sense. I can see this card getting stronger and stronger in the future as we get more Atmon cards. 100%. Destro, Shoutmon DX, and Haru, which is also needed for Atmon. So that would probably be the hits of the box, I believe. Maybe we might still have a chance of like an SR, which we have here, Hero. But I think there's also like the really low pull rate cards that could, you know, they're not guaranteed. And they're always kind of random. And let's see if we're lucky enough. We were pretty lucky last time with 2.5. But let's see if we can get even more lucky. But yeah, I got a third box for you guys because we're opening a lot of stuff. And hopefully I can still cover most of the cards that I wanted to cover in terms of SR. I think we're just missing that one card, which is an SR card that we haven't talked about yet. Again, for this pack, I'm just going to put it aside because it's the same 7, but we'll start with this one, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we can pull the other 2 cards that we didn't get to see yet, but looks like it's the same War Gray here. And we got the same Gallant here. Okay, not too bad. Definitely, you know, want multiple copies of those cards. But yeah, it would have been nice being able to talk about the other card. Oh man, wow! Can't believe I missed Gaiamon, and I wanted to talk about Gaiamon for sure because Gaiamon's part of that. Massimon is also part of this one, which is unfortunate that we don't get to see, but it's okay. I'll be opening more packs, and then we'll get to, well, I'll get to see it at some point, but it would have been nice if we were able to talk about it. But, you know, if I ever make upgrades and updates to those decks because of these promo cards, stay tuned. We'll get to see them in those deck profiles and gameplay. But yeah, let's go a little bit quicker now just because we've really seen most of the stuff already. So let's go skip to the hits. I'll stop by anything that I might want to talk about that's interesting, but otherwise, pretty standard. Most of these cards we've already seen already. I feel like this might be a hit, so I'm going to take this one slowly. It's a little bit more shiny than usual, too. So, wonder what it is. Now I'm nervous, guys. Arrestormon. And we got a Puppetmon Ace. It's really for Wind Guardians, but otherwise you can play it generically for any green or black decks, pretty much. I always find it interesting how all these quote-unquote Dark Master cards, Aces versions that they've been releasing so far with like Piedmon and Metal Seedramon and Puppetmon, and I would believe Machine Dramon's next. Oh, you know what? I feel like this might be our other hit. This probably might be another hit. Siriusmon and a Takuya, which I don't think we pulled as a regular SR, so this works very nicely with the hero deck, obviously, but also it works pretty nicely if you intend to play Emperor Greymon with the triple color version, with like Tommy and Zoe, because there's more different names. Honestly, you just swing with that guy as you digivolve into this hybrid guy with, and you pretty much get to play a red tamer from your hand for free afterwards. So you can turbo up your tamers way quicker, which is a really good card to see in the early game. And it's also a really good card in the mid and late stages of the game because you can further reduce the Digivolution cost as well. So Red Hybrid is definitely eating well, I'd say. But let's keep going. Megidramon and Taiki Kudo. Not sure if we pulled this one yet, just because I feel like we've seen a lot of red tamers today already. But of course, this is not only just for the hero archetype and trait, it's also for Shoutmon itself. Definitely a decent upgrade to E-Cross-6 deck. But I'm also looking forward to see if this could like re-bring out the older Shoutmon deck too. But I've been more of a fan of E-Cross-6. I think E-Cross-6 is cooler. in my personal opinion. But I know some of you guys are like huge Shoutmon fans that kind of like the traditional old one with like cross 5 and cross 4 and stuff like that. The other way to sort of like play it with the actual rookies instead of the level 5s. But yeah, gotta experiment and see. Lots of play testing that needs to be done. Cross 7 and Satellamon. So 2 hits. That's 2 Altarts. I don't know if we can pull another secret. I guess we'll find out. There's always a chance. But there's always another chance of the low pull rate card. I feel like every time when I talk about it and mention it, I don't pull it. But then when I don't think about it and I completely forget about it, it just magically appears. So I think that's kind of like the thing. I gotta start forgetting about that. The low pull rate card. Because the more I think about it, the more, you know, I'm like reverse jinxing myself. But here, this is the actual other SR I wanted to talk about. I believe this is the other only Digimon SR in the set, which is Medusamon. Very strong card for sure for Dragonkin and Reptile, which you play in the Owen Dreadnought's deck. Itself has security attack +1. You have a really crazy combo with Lamiamon and with your Gigimon egg. Trash opponent's security based on like, you know, having like a token and the petrification token. You get to delete it. So really interesting. There's a combo where you can easily just remove 3 of your opponent's security out of nowhere. And I know many of you guys are hyped for that deck as well. So make sure to subscribe, stay tuned, because I'll be definitely covering that one, because I know you guys really want to see that one too. And we'll be looking into it for sure. And I believe there's going to be more support for it down the road in future too. So yeah, the deck can get stronger and stronger. Groundmon. Okay. Griffmon and Elizamon. So I think we have our playset of the rookie, which is the main searcher of the deck. Keep going here. This pack feels a little heavy. Galactima. Baited me for a second. I was like, oh, secret? Another Altart? It felt thick, you know? Oops, sorry about that. And we have a regular art Takuya. I guess to pair up with our Altart that we got earlier. And yeah, you definitely need a lot of those for sure. Swipemon. And more shiny red cards. Timon and Globemon, our second one. You definitely need a playset of Globemon too, if you plan to build a deck. Very important level 5 that you need. Which is almost like a pseudo level 6 for the deck already. Daramon. I feel like I know what the SR here is, which is the regular Puppetmon. Which also looks really nice artwork, to be honest. Which we did talk about earlier on with the Altart version. But yeah, this is what the regular one looks like. But yeah, I thought I was talking about the Dark Master stuff. I was wondering why they don't have the Dark Master trait. And I'm wondering if they're just really trying to keep like Apocalypse in check. And all that. This looks like... Ooh, hold on. This looks like a... Oh... There are 3 Wait, okay. You know what, guys? You gotta let me know in the comments whether this is a high pull rate card or a low pull rate card or not. I don't know. But if it is, it'll be crazy. I guess I'll find out after I'm editing. But that's our 3rd Altart of the box, right? Yeah, because we got Takuya and the puppet, and then this is a English exclusive Altart. And I don't know how difficult it is to pull one of these too. I personally am more of a fan of the Japanese one. This one in person doesn't look that bad either. Looks pretty nice. Awesome. Wow, there's actually a 3rd hit. Who would have thought? I thought it was well over. I was like, oh, we're done for the day, guys. You know, we can move on. I mean, this box is pretty much dead in a way where it's like, yeah, there's no more pulls aside from just SRs to talk about. But nice. Satellamon, and Examon X Antibody for sure. You don't need 4 copies of this card, I'd say, unless there is a specific build that you can like just maximize as a 4 of, but I think you still really want to play regular Examon above all else with it. What else do we have here? Seriousmon and Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode, and with our final pack right here today. This one does feel a little thick, guys. I'm gonna go through one by one just in case. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Well, kind of skipped the card there, but Timon and oh, never mind. I guess I baited you guys. But yeah, that wraps up for the opening for today. And once again, don't forget to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, give this video a like, and I really appreciate the support. Also visit the AVAULT store right away to grab the Destined Partners playmat, which you can also get the status counters combo alongside with it for a discounted price, which will be limited time only. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is AVAULT signing out.